Big Rican Baseball Show here on the Big Rican on Sports podcast. And it's a new format with the Big Rican Baseball Show because it's not just my show anymore. The Big Rican Baseball Show is now a two-man gig. And no, it's not Jim. So you don't have to worry about people being mad at baseball or throwing fits or what have you. It is my boy Alex from Row 7, the Hermanos de Baseball, as we're calling ourselves now. Hopefully no one has trademarked that and we don't get yelled at a little bit. But Alex, my friend, it's been an interesting hot stove experience so far, has it not?
It has. I was in my mind kind of planning and expecting a lot of the big names to not sign till after the holidays. I'm sure they're all on vacation, sleeping and enjoying the beach life probably, but that has been the absolute, wrong thought process.
Yeah, and I do want to go over all of them today. I want to hit ones that we didn't think were going to happen or ones we thought were going to happen. The surprises for some of us, unfortunately, and the fallout from those surprises. But I am going to lean out of the screen for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tee one up for you. So if you want to spaz about it, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to know your thoughts on Mike Clevenger being the only person that the White Sox have brought in so far.
I am going to just say that team that shall not be named is now irrelevant in my mind. They no longer exist. They should become the Albuquerque Isotopes as far as I'm concerned. Lost all faith in that front office, lost all faith in that ownership. I have renounced my season tickets. So that's really where I'm at right now.
I got to be honest with you. I knew you were upset. I didn't realize we have now turned them into Voldemort.
They are the enemy.
Is it bad that earlier in the year the Bears were Voldemort and now they're not?
I am all on board for the Chicago Bears.
Look at you.
I don't really care that they're 3-10 because we have a quarterback. I hope and pray that we have now the two Ryans in charge that will lead us to the promised land. But I'm just excited that we have Justin Fields as our quarterback. There has never been a quarterback in my lifetime that I've been really proud of. That's also including Jay Cutler, Smoking Jay, or however you want to call him. But Justin Fields, JF1 is my guy.
I remember we did draft night when they drafted him, and I got to tell you, I told you you'd be excited. And people were crazy. And people who watched that and said to me, Fields is going to be a typical Ohio State quarterback. He's not.
I think, granted, right now his weapons are what they are. I think if you get him a stud receiver and you do well in the draft and you get him some protection, I think that this team could make some noise in years to come. I genuinely do.
Real quick, breaking news. Caleb Williams from USC has won the Heisman Trophy.
Oh.
And we thought the explicatives on the hands were going to hurt him, but apparently not. So congratulations to him. I don't know where CJ Stroud finished. All I care is that he finishes Georgia on December 31st. And for those watching, I will be doing it's going to be recorded. It's not going to be live. I will be doing a preview of the college football playoff, previewing both games that are being played on New Year's Eve. And of course, most of my time will be spent on the 1-4 matchup in the Georgia Peach Bowl between Ohio State and Georgia. So now that the White Sox don't exist in your mind,
they do not.
I have a list here, and you can't see it because of the way the light is, of all the free agents of 10 million plus average annual value. By the way, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 27 different players have signed for 10 million on an average annual value. By the way, Kevin Kiermaier is also one of them who signed today with Toronto. I think that spells the end of George Springer in center field. How about you?
Guaranteed. I mean, DH, I'm guessing, or is he going to go to the corners?
He's got to go to a corner. They traded Teoscar Hernandez.
That's true. Very true. Oh yeah, he's now a Mariner.
Which is why Mitch Haniger is no longer with the Mariners. So I want to jump in and we're going to leave.
I have. Can I just suggest something? Because I want to get your opinion on this one. I want to know your thoughts on the Xander Bogaerts to San Diego.
what?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think about Xander Bogaerts. How the Boston Red Sox let him go, I'll never know. I don't understand that part of it. I understand San Diego's. Fernando Tatis Jr. is not a reliable player, and he's a $300 million guy. Manny Machado really stepped up last year. Obviously, I can't stand San Diego for what happened in the postseason. So Machado stepped up. I think Cronenworth is a very consistent player. You got a lot out of Grisham last year. You bring in Juan Soto in the blockbuster deal to, bring him over. You gave up a lot to get him. They needed a stabilizing force in that middle infield, and Kim wasn't going to do it. So bringing in Xander Bogaerts, moving Kim to second base, moving Cronenworth to first. Now Tatis got to play the outfield when he's back.
How enthusiastic do you think he's going to be about that?
I don't think he's got a choice. Never mind enthusiastic. I think they got to sit down with him and be like, listen, you screwed yourself. We'd have went out and gotten Jock Peterson or somebody like that. I got to fix the light. But instead, you decided to pump yourself full of roids and be stupid. So I got nothing for him, in all honesty. I've got a real problem with how much of a joke he's become. So, it is what it is. And unfortunately, he did this to himself.
He legitimately did. And I was reading an article. I forgot where I seen the article, but San Diego really has probably the next year and a half, 2 years to essentially figure it out, because Manny could walk after the 23 season, and then Juan Soto is a free agent after the 24 season. I
don't think Soto's going to get the free agency. Honestly, I don't.
Okay.
No, I think what they're going to do is they are going to. I honestly believe they're going to let Machado walk.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, because they're going to clear the payroll.
Right. Because are they printing money the same way that the Dodgers are?
I don't know, but the Mets are.
That we do know that Steve Cohen is printing. He does have a press underneath the stadium.
Somebody put a picture up on Twitter today, and I'll send it to you. But they turned Thanos into Steve Cohen with the Infinity Gauntlet. I
believe it 1,000%.
Because there's rumblings on Twitter that something may come down in the next couple of days. First of all, Cody Senga is probably going to be a Met. And right now, it is being widely discussed that next year's target is Ohtani. Remember, Billy Epler is the GM who brought him from Japan.
No, I do remember.
So they have that ability, and they're the only team that's on his contract that's in the no trade clause. They're the only ones he'll go to. So, but here is the move that has been floated. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how much money they want to spend. Carlos Correa has come out and said he will play third base for one team and one team only, and that is the New York Mets, because he wants to play next to Lindor the same way Baez said he'd play second. So now that got my juices flowing. I'm thinking to myself, that move fixes your DH move, because now Eduardo Escobar is your everyday DH. And you don't have to worry about anybody else. Granted, they brought Vogelback back, who I love, by the way. I adore him. But there's your everyday DH. And of course, Nimmo's back. We'll get into the Mets at the end, because they've been insanely aggressive, which is not something Met fans are used to. Over the last, I think the last time the Mets were aggressive in free agency, Omar Minaya was the GM. Yeah, 15, almost 20 years ago. So a couple of deals I want to go on, and I want to go to the American League Central real quick. And the Guardians bring in Josh Bell. I understand you're a Central fan, and because of your affiliation with those who shall not be named.
Correct.
This makes them the favorite again.
100%. 100%.
When that came down, and I'll be honest with you, and my ties to Cleveland, and I love it. I was shocked when I saw that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, the Gardos got way better. Do you see Francona was wearing a Cavaliers
I did.
sweatshirt at the winter meetings.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning right now, by the way.
Good for
yeah.
them.
Sorry we took Quintana from your dad's team.
They didn't do too bad because they got Contreras from the Cubs.
That's where I wanted to go next. I want to talk the Cubs Cardinals thing here because that move for Contreras is massive, in my opinion. You got to replace a first ballot Hall of Famer behind the dish.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
I hate his brother for trying to use the music. Come on.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Bobby dances to the one when Timmy Trumpet was actually there every day. Like he knows when the music comes on, and he looks at TV and
he's a fan. He's a fan.
I can't believe I am.
Why not?
All the conversations you and I had that I just wanted him gone.
Oh, I mean, you wanted him more than gone. You wanted him under 6 feet under, honestly.
Unfortunately, I kept saying deported, but forgetting he's Puerto Rican. He's a citizen. I can't have him deported.
Correct.
But yeah, so Wilson Contreras goes to the Cardinals. I like the length of the deal, considering his age and the fact that he is a catcher first. And I like the average annual value on that one. I don't think it really cripples the Cardinals, who have a few other holes they have to fill. With Wainwright coming back, but losing Yachty and Pujols, they're going to need a DH, going to need another bat in the lineup. So I don't think it cripples them too much. What was your dad excited when they made that move?
It was definitely intriguing. I mean, being that he's not a fan of the Chicago Cubs, but being that he's, he is all in on the St. Louis Cardinals, knowing that they got themselves a probably top five catcher in baseball who has a cannon of an arm and can hit. I think in terms of his ability in the box, he's probably a better hitter than Yachty.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Better power hitter than Yachty.
True. Right.
Which now let's talk about the other side of this then. Do you hit him between Goldschmidt and Arenado?
That's probably a good option. I mean, they're in one of those situations where a little right hand heavy because obviously Nato and Goldie are both righty guys and Wilson is as well too. So I think you kind of want to mix it up and see if you can get a lefty in the middle of that, or just to kind of like throw it off a little bit. But I think it would be a perfect idea. Maybe you bet Goldie third, and then you go 4 Contreras and you go 5 Arenado, just to show like middle of your lineup is kind of still a threat for power.
Yeah, and I think you got to hit Tommy Edman toward the top because he can just straight fly.
He's a 2. He's a 2 for sure.
I think this is where they'll miss Harrison Bader, although Jordan Montgomery's been very good.
Mm-hmm.
You think Cody Bellinger can save his career in Chicago?
No.
Do you see what Marisnik said the other day?
I seen a tweet, but I don't remember what he said. What was it again?
He said maybe I should hit 200 and strike out 150 times a year. Maybe I'd be making $20 million a year.
There you go.
Shots fired.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who else we want to get to. Jameson Taillon.
Yeah,
that's a big move.
Yeah,
to pair him with the young pitching that came on last year and had good years, and a Marcus Stroman. That's a nice little rotation the Cubs are going to have. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to compete this year. I honestly do.
I think as well too. I mean, and they're kind of in the mix that they're throwing money around right now, and their name is in the hat again, also with the Correa situation too. I don't exactly know how that's going to pan out, but I think that from everything that I've heard here in sports radio and like read online from all the reporters, everybody seems to indicate that they're going to try and go after who's left in terms of Swanson and or Correa.
Let's talk about Dansby for a minute. Now, I said something on our playoff preview that I thought the Braves were going to have a hard time with the time off in between the season and the playoffs because of what they had to do to get to where they were. You don't play 800 ball and then take a week and a half off and keep that same momentum. It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play devil's advocate here. If Dansby leaves, how big of a hit does Atlanta take with that?
I mean, it's a huge hole that they're going to be left to fill
It's
in.
going to be Vaughn Grissom is going to be the shortstop.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's a name, but I mean, I think he's still got a lot to prove. And I think the one thing that is in favor of the Braves is that they have a lot of team-friendly contracts that are long-term. So that
Yes.
that core is together for a number of years.
I want to say 2032.
Yes. Yeah.
Some insane. No, 2030. I'm sorry. 2030.
Yeah.
Not 10 years, the next 7 or 8.
Right.
And
But
that's
you're
all
talking
of it.
about
Olsen,
Yeah.
Acuna, Albies,
Riley.
Riley. They signed the center fielder, the rookie of the year, too.
Oh, yeah. Forgot his name, but yes.
Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter. It's Atlanta.
The hate runs true even in the dead of December, huh?
Listen, man. I'm semi anti Georgia right now.
Okay.
I got to deal with New Year's Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the Braves.
Okay.
And I'll tell you something off air otherwise. Interesting, but I'll tell you something off air.
Okay.
Because they have not done anything this offseason, by the way.
That is true. They've been kind of idle right now.
They've been idle, but I mean, everybody's under contract. But here's the thing: they did re-sign Charlie Morton during the season.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Soroka should be back.
Right.
Spencer Strider will have another full season. I don't think Kyle Wright's going to win 20 games again.
Probably not.
So listen, they 101 wins in a flat-footed tie with the Mets. 10 of the 19 games were in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They basically did what they were supposed to win the division.
Right.
Not Shock Kershaw's back in LA, no.
No.
He's a lifer.
Yep.
Why did Baltimore give Kyle Gibson $10 million?
I really don't know what Baltimore's doing. I give them kudos and a little bit in credit to kind of to show that they're active because they were not an irrelevant organization last year. They were, gritty. Yeah, I guess we'll say would be a good way to kind of put it. But it's shocking for them to give him that money. We'll see what he does.
You talked about top 5 catchers. You're going to put Adley Rutschman in there by the end of next year?
I think so. I think
he is so good.
He's good.
All those young kids.
Yeah.
It's weird because they brought him up. And first of all, hats off to Trey Mancini getting a ring.
Mm-hmm.
I know no one really likes Houston.
Yeah.
But if it's Houston to the Phillies,
right?
We know who I was rooting for. Speaking of the defending National League champions, Trey Turner.
Man, the 1-2 punch is back again. Harper and his boy, Harper and Turner.
They still don't have a bullpen.
That is true.
Sir Anthony Dominguez is not going to didn't get them through October this year, and he's not going to do it next year. That National League East is going to be an insane asylum.
I mean, I will tell you this: Craig Kimball's a free agent. If Philadelphia was interested,
I wouldn't wish that on many teams.
I guess I'm a little more cynical than I don't know.
No, sir, you're straight bitter.
Yeah.
Craig Kimbrell's a free agent, he says. This guy. I tell you what I like about Philly. And they brought in Taijuan Walker too. 4 years, $72 million. I like Taijuan, you know that. Would I have liked him? Huh?
Go. You can finish what you're saying.
I say I would have liked him back in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But good for. I don't think the Mets are going 4 years with him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
were you a little upset that he walked, or you think they'll be okay?
No, I think they'll be fine. I don't think they're done. I think you're going to get Tyler McGill back healthy. I think you're going to get David Peterson. A year with Max Scherzer is going to change a lot of things for these young pitchers. And then what we're going to talk about at the end, what they did. I just can't. And by the way, not pumped about David Robertson, but I'm okay with him as a bridge piece, not a back end piece. I think he's better served as a bridge piece, especially if DS has really figured it out and what we saw last year was what we're going to see going forward, then that 5-year deal was worth it.
Because otherwise, he's on the naughty list again, right?
I will personally try and hit him with a trombone instead of listening to Timmy Trumpet. I don't want to rub salt in a wound. But I love Jose Abreu in Houston. I
am thrilled for him. I will buy a
middle
Houston
of that
Astros jersey with his name
the
on it.
middle of that lineup. That's not even cool. Because now you're going to go Altuve, Pena, Abreu hits third, Yordan Alvarez hits fourth, Tucker hits fifth, Bregman's down in the 6 hole. Christian Javier, wherever he lands, I thought they were going to get Contreras. I did not see Contreras going to replacing Yadier Molina in St. Louis, but Houston just keeps getting better. Now Houston's going to have to learn how to pitch without a big man in the front of the rotation.
Right.
But I think the guys behind them, plus I don't think they're done.
Oh, I don't think so either.
I tell you who is done is the Boston Red Sox.
They're something.
Yeah. And good for Rafael Montero, too, the former Med farmhand, who was supposed to be the big-time prospect, not the other guy who came up the same day as him. We'll get into him in a minute.
Son
of a bitch. I was angry. Like that came over and I said, so let's do it now. Let's do it now. Jacob deGrom to the Texas Rangers, 5 years, $185 million. I will say this. Go you first.
No. Jacob deGrom to the Texas Rangers to win a World Series title.
Okay.
That's what he said.
So you watched all the Marvel films, right?
Huh?
Okay. They did a meme, and the top is him saying, I like Texas, the Rangers vision. The bottom is Vision dead in Infinity War, and it says the Rangers vision. Okay, no team goes to spring training to not win a World Series. I understand that. I get it. It's like saying I'm going to try and win a Super Bowl in the NFL or a national championship in college football or the Stanley Cup or the NBA championship. But there are certain teams aren't there. And when you look at the landscape of where they play, they're not anywhere close. Texas is nowhere close. They spent $500 million last offseason and won 68 games. Bro, you left it. Talk about vision. You left a team that won 101 and you didn't pitch till August 2nd.
I almost viewed that as a slap in the face to Cohen in that front office. Like, what were the Mets trying to do then?
They weren't giving him 5 years. That's what they were doing. He was going to get the same deal Verlander got. He would have got 3 years. He would have got the same deal Scherzer got, and he would have got Verlander's vesting option for the 4th year, which, with his injury history, especially the last 2 seasons, last 3, so 2020, 21, and 22. Remember, he didn't pitch from July 7th until August 2nd. July 7th of 21 to August 2nd of 22. Now, yes, the shoulder injury was a freak thing this spring training. 100%. But, bro, you didn't pitch in a year. And you just, listen, get your bag. I got you. Get your bag.
Yeah.
I'm with it. If you just said, this is where I want to be. I enjoyed my time in New York, but I felt it was time to move on. There's not a single Met fan who would have blamed him for one bit. Right. But the Rangers' vision, Bruce Bochy's older than Buck Showalter.
When he said that, and I kind of repeated to myself, I was like, the Rangers' vision of the World Series. I thought to myself, Houston Astros are better than you, and the Seattle Mariners are better than you. So I don't know what vision you're talking about or what you're thinking, because if anybody who was going to come out the AL again, it's going to be potentially one of those two teams.
Agreed. Now, his attitude from the time he signed the deal in 2019 to now, it got me thinking. And again, when it comes to the Mets, you know me, I kind of lose my stuff.
No,
Not at all.
no, come on. Don't say that.
We've been hanging out too long.
Yeah.
So it made me think something about the deal he signed in 2019. His agent before all of that was Brodie Van Wagenen, who was the GM of the Mets at the time. Do you know who negotiated the final part of that deal?
I do not.
It was David Wright.
Oh. Some ties to the Mets, I believe.
Just a couple.
Just some ties.
I honestly believe he signed that deal because out of loyalty to Brodie, and because he knew Met fans would turn on him if David Wright got involved, and he said no. Now let's put it on the line here: 2 Cy Youngs, 4 All-Star games, a deep postseason run in 2015 when he was the ace of the staff. A National League Rookie of the Year award in 2014. He's going to go down in the annals of Mets history as one of the best players they ever developed. We were putting him on par with Tom Seaver. That's not something Met fans do.
No.
48 was going to hang.
Uh-huh.
By the way, Texas is in New York the 28th, 29th, and 30th of August.
I wonder who should go to that game or one of those games.
I won't be able to. I'll tell you offline. No, I think the Mets should do something else. I think if he's scheduled to pitch and they plan it out long enough, retire 5 that night. Take all the focus off Jacob deGrom's first start back in New York, number 1. Number 2, kind of give him, it's on my page, but I'm doing it. Give him one of these and say, this could have been you, but you playing. Texas is going to finish no better than 3rd in that division.
More than likely. Actually, extremely likely.
Now they'll have some gate coming into the barn,
right?
When he pitches against Ohtani, which I think will be great. He's going to face off against Iglesias, and not Iglesias, the one from Cincinnati, Seattle picked up.
Oh, Castillo.
That's going to be some gate for Texas there too. But let's be honest. People are going to want Julio Rodriguez to hit him into the friggin' Puget Sound.
And he'll do it.
He can. There's a prop bet somewhere. Who makes more starts in the next 2 years, Jacob deGrom or Justin Verlander? Right now, the landslide favorite is Justin Verlander.
Really?
Homeboy's going to be 40.
Wow. Yeah, he is going to be 40.
And they're talking he's going to make more starts. What did somebody say that the top end of the Mets rotation is closer to AARP than they are Rookie of the Year? Listen, man, A-line.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, because Scherzer's what, like mid-30s, 35, 36?
38.
38.
The last 5 times there have been top of the rotation where 2 guys were at least 38 and 37, 38 and 40. The Mets have 2 of them. These 2, and then Al Leiter and Tom Glavine back in 2004. Let's see what else we got here. Andrew Haney, though, joins him down there. I think that's a great move. He's a depth piece lefty. He pitched really well for the Dodgers last year. We'll see them out of contention by June. Not bitter. Tyler Anderson left the Dodgers, went across town.
That's huge.
That is huge, and here's why. No more Justin Turner. No more Haney. No more Anderson. You now have to rely on Clayton Kershaw. But Dustin May is back after Tommy John.
Walker Buehler will be back.
Walker Buehler will be back after the injury. But what's Walker going to be is the question.
That's true.
Look, when he's right, he's top 5.
Guaranteed.
Top 10. Because 3 of the top 5 are still 2 in New York and 1 now in Texas. They just kind of flip-flop. There was always last year it was 2 in New York and 1 in Texas. Now it's the same thing.
You're talking about one of those guys is Cole in New York, right?
I don't know. Is Spider Tack allowed again?
I think they're gonna allow it. I think they're gonna.
Who was it? A player was asked, who's the biggest cheater you ever played with? They said Garrett Cole.
It was Manoah.
It was Alec Manoah. That was phenomenal.
That was great.
He's becoming one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I'm trying to get to my page because this is on the on my Facebook page as well.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody shared it once. I don't have any comments yet. Let's see who else we got here.
Really quickly, while you're doing that, I am a little surprised that the Dodgers have not gone out and spent a little bit of money that they, that as they normally do in free agency.
I'm not, because of what they need. They will not bring Carlos Correa to Los Angeles.
They said that already.
I think Dansby Swanson's a great fit for them, especially in a lineup with Mookie Betts. If you're Freddie Freeman, are you on the phone with him right now?
I would be. I mean, I would say we have the palm trees, we have warm weather, we have the ocean, we have everything.
Screw the palm trees. Could you imagine the absolute coup that would be? You don't match the money for a guy who would have taken less to stay, and then he recruits your shortstop. That'd be hysterical.
That'd be nice.
I would have more respect for Freddie Freeman. So you brought up the Yankees with that idiot. I mean, Garrett Cole. Oh, but I got to tell you, they made the 2 moves they had to make so far with bringing Anthony Rizzo back on really, I think, a team-friendly deal, $17 million a year for 2 years.
And you got your big bat back.
And listen,
your captain.
Listen, they had no choice.
Yeah.
I have never seen a team backed into a corner like that before.
Talk about betting on yourself. I mean, he had an MVP. MVP season, but talk about betting on yourself.
That was Listen, I like him. Mm-hmm. You know my issue with that team is the fans. Mm-hmm. It always has been. Mm-hmm. I like Judge. I love Rizzo. I think Stanton should be playing tight end for like the Rams or something.
He should.
Off topic real quick. Do you know how bad Brown's Twitter was ablaze yesterday morning?
No. What happened?
After what Baker did Thursday night.
Oh. I could only imagine.
No, you can't.
No? No. Was it like burn the stadium down type of
Especially
situation?
since Al Michaels said there are people in Cleveland going, come home, come home. Somebody said Baker was there 36 hours and got a win. Deshaun was practicing for several weeks and looked like garbage. They said something else, and this is on my page, so I'm not going to be too vulgar. Oh, pudding pops.
Man,
Oh, by the way, Jim is cutting shorts for the Wise Guys YouTube channel.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The ice fishing one's going to be in there.
Oh.
Only because you're in it. So yeah, the Yankees made the 2 moves they had to, but I got to say this: in losing Jameson Taillon, I like Nestor Cortez. Yeah, they need pitching.
I'm a fan of Nasty Nestor as well. But I think that losing Taillon is going to be a big hole in that rotation, especially considering that a lot of other guys have issues with staying healthy.
Yeah. I mean, was it Herman comes back this year? He should be good. Who's the other one? He pitched against the Mets twice. He pitched great once and not so great the other time. No, that was Herman.
Yeah.
Severino should be back this year too. But again, you don't know what you're getting coming off of injury. Thor may be an option for them. He's a free agent. Met fans would hate him even more because he ducked him both times.
Yeah.
He ducked him in LA. He ducked him in Philadelphia. Oh, excuse me. What else we got here? Kenley Jansen. Whatever. The Red Sox aren't going to contend. Why spend the money on a legit closer?
You're going to a team that's no, exactly.
They're another one. I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, and this is going back years already. The questionable deals that they've made, and people that they've let walk.
Benintendi going to make $100 million?
No, I don't think so.
You think he ends up back in the Bronx?
A good chance. Good chance.
What's their outfield? I don't think so because Harrison Bader's there now.
But he's got issues with staying healthy.
Yeah, but you're going to move Judge back to right and play Bader in center.
I mean,
Benintendi plays left.
What about Stanton?
He's DH. He didn't do anything else. He's paid to hit 50-foot line drives over the right field wall and hit the ball deep to left center.
50-foot line drives? That's a home run?
Have you seen Yankee Stadium?
Just some pictures.
Yeah. It's literally, there is a site that tells you how many parks home runs would go out of.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Judge hit 2 or 3 apiece last year. There's only one park it would have gone out of.
Really?
We're talking line drives got no higher than 8 feet off the ground. That would be doubles every other place in all of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They get over the fence because it's 314 down the line.
Both lines? At least right, maybe.
I think it's 315 or 320 down the left field line. It's a home run hitter's park. Except it's a home run hitter's park in right and left. In the gaps, it's a friggin' canyon.
It looks like it gives it that vibe because I mean, when you see somebody hit it into left center, it looks like they're running for years.
They are
to go catch it.
Old Yankee Stadium. The only person I've ever seen hit balls consistently at Old Yankee Stadium to left center is Mike Piazza, and they were always off of Clemens. Always off of Clemens. Hey, I'm surprised Jock Peterson took the qualifying offer.
Did he really?
Yeah, he took the 19-6 to stay in San Francisco.
Oh, maybe he likes San Francisco.
Look, he had a great season.
He did.
He out there. I mean, he's really revitalized his career since he left the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Atlanta, gets the World Series, played really well last year for a San Francisco team that wholly underachieved.
Mm-hmm.
Who is also now in the market for a shortstop and is in the market for players.
Where do they get all this money from now, too?
The Giants, dude, they sell out every game.
That is true.
And they take all the money from the franchise across the bay.
I mean, granted, probably to sit like in the nosebleeds, it costs like $250. So I guess it makes sense.
Probably. That is a park I do want to go to. That's on the bucket list.
It does look nice, yeah.
I want a picture of me standing up by that big glove in left field.
Mm-hmm.
Who else we got here? I don't know much about the Japanese outfielder the Red Sox signed. Again, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm only looking at 10 million plus average annual values. Because we'll get to the big ones in a minute. That's Mitch Haniger. That's where he went, is San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah. I think that deal right there was what would have made me kind of think that there was no chance that Judge would go to San Francisco.
No, I think he would have ended up there if the Yankees didn't come back with the 360.
I mean, I think they did offer him 10 for 400, which would have broken down to the same exact amount that he got.
Yeah, no, and I want to say it was either 10 for 400 or 8 for 320, and the Yankees added the extra and the extra 40. But again, Steinbrenner had no choice with Judge. You didn't. If they would have gone into this season with their biggest offseason acquisition being Anthony Rizzo and re-signing him to 2 years, that fan base would have revolted.
And they give him an extension too, the GM.
Cashman,
Mm-hmm.
he's done nothing but put out teams that can compete for a World Series since he took over. That's all he can do. I mean, really, other than what moves would you question that he's made in the years he's been there? There's not a whole lot you can.
No.
Can you question not going out and getting more pitching? Absolutely. But you don't know what went on in the negotiating rooms. You don't know what the conversations were.
True.
It's like the trade deadline when people were like, oh, Billy Epler failed the trade deadline. You don't know what these teams wanted.
Yeah.
Who was the lefty from the Cubs that people were surprised? Was it Franklin? The reliever that people were surprised didn't get traded?
I don't know that his last name was Franklin, but I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. There's reports that the Cubs wanted David Peterson, another top plate prospect, for a lefty out of the bullpen.
Wow.
You don't make that deal.
No, that's true. I think we're now well into the days of like where teams are not just going to be desperate just to make a move. I think you got to be very practical with your moves to kind of justify it. You're not just going to be willy-nilly with it and hope and pray it works.
Yeah, especially now that we're in an age with baseball where you're bringing in major league talent more than you're developing your own.
Yep.
Especially in the bigger markets in Chicago, New York, LA. Even though the Dodgers have always had a great farm system.
Well, they only do that at one team here in Chicago, not both. It's honest to God truth. That was not being nasty. That's just the truth.
I know it is, and it makes me laugh that you are this angry.
I'm about ready to go buy a Guardians jersey, honestly.
I would either get Sticks or Clase.
I might get Naylor, honestly. I'm a Naylor guy.
Dog. He's
I'm
a
Naylor
dog.
Guy.
He's a dog. I love him. Who's the other one I like on there? Get Jimenez. Jimenez is so nasty.
Yeah, he is.
I love Jeff McNeil, but imagine him and Lindor in the middle.
Wow. That would be good.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That's all right. They'll sign him in a couple of years. Stevie's not going anywhere anytime soon. All right, so let's break down the one other thing that I'm shocked about. I am shocked there's some guys still on the market. I'm shocked Seth Lugo number one, hasn't re-signed with the Mets. Number two, hasn't been picked up by some of these teams that need bullpen help, i.e. the Phillies, the Cubs. I was going to say your boys, but I'm not. I can't get you on another rant. I'm surprised the Yankees haven't made a move for him. He's a New York kid. Who was the other one that I was just shocked is still a free agent? Oh, come on.
Let me pull it up real quick. Let me see.
Yeah, let's see who's left out there.
Excuse me.
You're good. Because I'm surprised that Tampa spent as much money as they have too.
You got Carlos Rodon.
That I am floored. Apparently, he wants 7 years.
I mean, coming off the year that he had in San Francisco, and I know his past said that he was injury prone, but for whatever reason in San Francisco, he was lights out. So
I think a lot of it's contract year, though. I honestly do. It's when it seems like people have when they're comfortable, they have or they have some injuries. And those contract years, guys just blow up.
That is a fair point.
So Rodon is still out there, which now that I think about it, Rodon I'm not shocked about because he's one of those guys we thought weren't going to sign until right before spring training.
Right.
Or at least after Christmas. I think he's definitely going to be after Christmas now. To all those watching, final in Cleveland, Cavaliers 110, OKC 102. Oh, look at Karis LeVert, 22, 4 and 4 off the bench. We got to do an NBA show too, dude.
JD Martinez is still a free agent. I know he's not a pitcher, but
Yeah, but he doesn't shock me just because you're going to see the guys who are just going to be DHs go late. Vogelback, that was an option they picked up, so that didn't shock me. I think JD's going to end up one of two places: back in Boston on a garbage deal, excuse me, or he's going to end up in LA with the Dodgers. For one very simple reason. Who's going to DH for the Dodgers? Unless you bring Justin Turner back, because you're moving Muncy to third.
Yeah.
Gavin Lux is going to take over every day at second. Because you're certainly not going to let Max Muncy play first base again.
No, not after what happened this past season.
Freddie almost won a batting title.
That too.
I think JD's going to end up in one of the bigger markets as a last second DH. I actually thought he would go to Cleveland because I think the Gardos gave him the best shot to win, where he would be a key piece in the middle, but then they signed Josh Bell, and now they don't need, if Josh Bell DHs for them, he's a switch hitter. They don't need another guy.
I'm just kind of going through seeing if there's anybody that's notable. That, for what it's worth, Joey Gallo, free agent.
Dave Kingman,
free agent.
Nice.
I mean,
who's the
biggest one on the market, honestly, right now?
It's Rodon.
It's Rodon. Mm-hmm.
And the biggest bat's JD Martinez.
Or Correa.
Oh, Correa, I forgot about him. I'm thinking he's already in blue and orange, but he's not.
And I don't mean to cut you off. I was reading several things within the past couple of days that Cashman is basically doing everything possible to make that next big signing in New York.
If George was still alive and Steve Cohen owned the Mets, there'd be fights. They would actually want to throw hands. I don't think the Steinbrenner family is going to let him sign Correa. I don't think they're going to let him do it. They're not going to okay that much money. They're not their father. Hal is not his dad. And with Hank not there, who is more his dad than Hal is, he's not going to do it. Remember, when they had their big offseason going into 2009, when they won their last championship, after signing Sabathia and signing A.J. Burnett, they were supposed to be done. Brian Cashman told Steinbrenner, Teixeira is a once-in-a-lifetime guy. We got to go out and get him. And they did, and they won a World Series. I don't think Hal will listen to that about Correa. I don't know. He listened to it about Garrett Cole, but they needed a top of the rotation guy because that's where they were falling short.
Right.
Well, they got the top of the rotation guy who has been garbage in the playoffs, with rare exception. And when he was told he couldn't use Spider Tack anymore, his numbers went like that. So does he okay the money? Does Correa want to play for the Yankees? That's the question. Shortstop for the Yankees it's a black hole because of who was there before.
And obviously we see who filled that role within the past couple of years has not entirely panned out.
No, but I told you that 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My one buddy who's a Yankee fan, he hates that I called it. So Gleyber Torres cannot play shortstop and hit at the same time. He can't. And oh, look, he can't. It's different to play second base than to play shortstop, especially where you're replacing a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not just and again, not just a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're replacing a guy whose name is synonymous with 5 titles and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into my boys. And let's talk about the lunacy that is the New York Mets for the second consecutive offseason. And I'm not even talking about the pitching, which they fired the first shot with the 5-year, $102 million contract to Edwin Diaz, who last year was just a sight to see every time he came in. I loved the move when they got him in 2019.
But did you though?
I did, because of what came. I loved it when they got him. When he blew 16 saves that year, I didn't love it at all. 2020, he struggled again. 2021, he started to turn around. Second half of the year, he had a great second half, and then last year he just hit the ground running. Makes me wonder if DeGrom really was their first priority.
Good point.
5 years, 102 for a closer. I think we all knew Stevie Cohen was going to spend some money after that. And that's not the biggest contract they've handed out this year either.
And why don't you just keep rubbing it in? Go ahead. Let's hear it.
The biggest one is the most recent. And that, by the way, David Robertson negotiated his own deal with the Mets.
Good for him.
1 year, $10 million, knowing what his role is. He's going to be the 7th or 8th inning guy. Buck likes to. Showalter's the kind of guy, if he did it a couple times, it did in the playoffs, and he did it in LA. If in the 8th inning, the middle part of the lineup's gone up, he will bring Diaz in to pitch the 8th inning. And Edwin's okay with that, which I love because that's what the team needs. But Brandon Nimmo, 8 years, $162 million. I love me some Brandon Nimmo. I do. I think they overpaid. I think they had to. Because once Judge got to 360.
Yeah.
And Jock Peterson took the qualifying offer, who would have been another nice bat to have in the lineup. Look, he's a 400 on base. He's a vastly improved defensive center fielder. He's your leadoff guy, who I really honestly believe they should bring Reyes or Mookie Wilson and teach this guy to steal bags. Because you can add that to his game. He's fast enough. Mm-hmm. He scores a ton of runs. Again, it's had to more than a needed. But let me ask you this: would you have gone 8 years for him?
How old is he?
They drafted him at 18. He's 29.
I probably would have been a little more comfortable with 6.
I think so too. I think being done at 35. Well, now in the DH in the National League, though, I mean, it's like you can DH him and put him in the corner.
Mm-hmm. But
the move them.
Go ahead.
Go on. Go you first. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, don't you think at a certain point that you probably would maybe make Polar Bear your DH, or do you think he's a first baseman?
I think because he's a first baseman by trade, he can play there a long time.
Okay.
Look, I love Pete. You know I love me some Polar Bear. He is not a defensive wizard. He's good. He's very good at playing defensive first base. He's not a defensive wizard. But at the same time, if he doesn't want a DH, you can't make him. And remember, he's also a couple years younger than Brandon Nimmo. Difference is Nimmo got drafted out of high school and went right to the Mets organization. Pete went to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like it that he's back. But yeah, I don't know if I would have gone that long or that high. I tell you, I may have gone 6 for 120.
Sure.
And still gotten him his $20 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Be done at 35 or sign another contract at 35 with the team would have been nice.
Just to kind of see exactly where he was in terms of health.
Exactly. I mean, this is an old team. As that's how fast they flipped the script. Because this was in 2019 when they went on that run in the second half. This was a young team. This was a J.D. Davis, Pete Alonso. The old heads were Todd Frazier and Wilson Ramos. You still had Ahmed Rosario still. Michael Conforto, I am shocked has not signed.
Well, from what I've heard, I know he had surgery last season. I'm assuming he's just rehabbing right now, but there's no reason why he shouldn't be signed at this point. I would assume he's got to.
Boris screwed him hard. Boris let him believe the hype.
That's probably true. And I mean, when you think about 1 year out of baseball entirely, it's a little bit of a toll.
Yeah, I mean, Boris let him believe the hype. That's the end of it. I said it last year because he turned down 100, I think 150.
Damn.
I think it was like 6 or 7 years for 150, and he turned it down.
Jeez.
Everybody knew he wasn't getting it in the open market.
Right.
The Mets were giving it to him because they wanted to make him a cornerstone of the franchise. Moron.
Now he's kind of snake bitten at this point. I mean, I'm sure he'll sign someplace, but I mean, he's not going to go get 6 for 150th. Huh?
He should end up in Seattle. He's from the area. Which is last year when we did this is where I said I thought he was going to go, was Seattle.
Yeah.
But let's get to the old man. Jacob deGrom, was it Tuesday? Last Tuesday? He said, beginning of last week, Jacob deGrom signs with the Texas Rangers. And within 24 hours, Justin Verlander is a New York Met. 2 years, $86.6 million, and a third-year vesting option for 35. So the deal can get to 121 for 3 years, basically. Yeah, 121. I did that math in my head quick. I'm actually very impressed with myself.
Yowzers is all I can say.
Now, look. What other team can say they brought in a Cy Young Award winner?
Fair point.
Then there's who comes with him. May look very good in blue and orange as well.
Is he also a former Houston Astro?
No.
Talking
about Verlander's other half.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the video of her giving the finger to the Phillies fans during a World Series? That was beautiful.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's another one that Steve Cohen's family got involved. Because he's running this like a family business. He wants to hand this to his kids to run it the way he's run it when he wants to be done. His wife is involved in negotiations with him to talk to the families of these players. I like the model.
That's good. That's a good business model.
I think it is too. And look, it's worked. That's how they got Scherzer here, and that's how they got Verlander here. And now we get to see what Detroit Tigers fans had for how many years?
How many years was he there?
They were together at least 4. If not 5.
Right. Something like that.
Because Scherzer was a part of that big 3-team deal between Arizona, the Yankees, and the Tigers. Because remember, they were both on the All-Star team in 2013 when it was played at Citi Field. Scherzer started that game against Matt Harvey. But the top of the rotation being Scherzer and Verlander is massive. They need some depth. Kodai Senga is the Japanese pitcher who I think they are so high on him. And oh, by the way, he's also represented by the same company as Quintana.
Okay.
So they've got the in there with them. I love Quintana. I love Quintana for 2 reasons. 1, he's a strike thrower and an innings eater. And 2, he's left-handed.
Yeah, huge.
They were all right-handed, that staff last year.
I will be 100% honest with you. I can almost see Rodon being a Met.
I don't think they spend it there. Would I like them to? Because I like Rodon? Yes, I do.
And I'm not saying that you give him 7 years. What if you give him 4? Would you feel more comfortable giving him 4?
It's not about the years with Rodon, to be honest with you. It's about they have other needs that they can fill for a longer term. I honestly believe Carlos Correa is the move right now. If you can sign now, first of all, their payroll is going to be close to $400 million because of the election, because of the Steve Cohen tax.
Yeah,
and he just don't care.
Good, and I hope he continues to spend that way. That way, he can embarrass other GMs in other cities. I'm not going to name cities, but just other cities.
I don't think you need to.
Okay, thank you.
You are so angry.
I think if it was in your situation and you were a fan of a team, a lifelong fan of a team, and you just see non-commitment from your ownership, and you keep seeing them get handed money, and they don't spend money accordingly, or
you don't remember who owned the team before Steve Cohen?
well, I do, but I mean those days.
I know
are
exactly
long
why
gone
you're
now.
angry.
But those days are long gone now. You're in a much better situation now with a GM who cares, who's bringing in the family values, who's saying, you know what, from when did he take over the team?
Steve Cohen bought the team at the end of 2020.
Okay. So he's going to instill this business, and it's going to go to his kids and his kids and forever how long that Cohen family wants to own it. And guess what will happen? The New York Mets will be a landing spot for any top tier free agent for this foreseeable future. So
I mean, you think about it. The guy took over in November of 2020. 2 months later, he traded for Francisco Lindor and handed him $341 million.
That's somebody who, yes, you know that you have to pay. You know, you got to pay to play, but it's a commitment to win, or commitment to show that your fans and the people within an organization and people outside of baseball that, hey, we're real and we're here to stay for a long time. So,
agreed. I think this is an owner that's going to want to win for years to come, because remember, they haven't traded any of their big pieces in the minor leagues. I fully expect Francisco Alvarez to be the catcher and to start next season. I honestly do. The heck was I going to say? Nobody's there yet. Okay, I saw somebody in the watch video, in the watch section. I didn't want to see if there's a caption there. So yeah, now let's see if we can predict where the rest of these guys are going to go. Rodon, do the Dodgers pay him?
I don't think it's the Dodgers. I just don't.
I don't know if the Yankees. See, I can see the Yankees paying him before Correa.
Maybe they're weighing the odds right now to see exactly which would, they would prefer to go either the Correa route and fill shortstop, or you add depth to your pitching staff and you get a left-handed guy.
I mean, Kiner Falefa is a good defensive shortstop.
Yeah, but I mean, that being well outside of the New York market, I see all too much hatred here in Chicago for Kiner Falefa.
Yeah, he's not well loved.
No,
but it's it's mostly because of who was there before him. So we're gonna make our couple of predictions. We're gonna wrap this up real quick, because again, I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin. So I think Rodon will end up with the Yankees now that we're talking about it. I think Dansby Swanson's going to go to LA. I mean, that's a huge hit.
Yeah.
All kidding aside, are your guys going to be in on anybody?
No.
Really?
No. They've really said that they're going to. The GM has basically said we're going to wait till the dust settles, and then from there we'll just pick up the scraps essentially. So,
well, let's see where the dust settles, because it may end up being somebody worth it.
It could, but I mean, they've already said that they're going to look to cut payroll. So, is it going to be anybody of note? Probably not. So
that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one I wanted to? Oh, Benintendi. If he
I get
doesn't go back to the Yankees, I could see him taking that Conforto spot in Seattle and playing
could.
alongside Julio. So what's going on, row 7? What's coming up soon?
Well, I've been on a little bit of a hiatus just with the move, and now that I'm fully settled, and now I'm painting everything possible in my house, and you know, now that I'm settled and stuff like that, now I can sleep good at night. But now that I've slept good at night, my furnace started to do some things a couple days ago.
No.
So
Oh,
there's been a little bit of
dude.
distractions as of late, but we'll eventually get back into it and hit the ground running. But it's just a lot of work to kind of get this place to where I want it to be. And granted, it's I love it, but
It's work.
yeah.
I'll extend the invitation since I don't know if Jim is that one that's sitting there, but next Saturday night, around the same time, is the Wise Guys Holiday Edition.
Oh,
Yes.
8 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see what I got going. I'll let you know.
If you do, great. If not, you're gonna want to watch it.
Okay.
As far as Big Rican goes, next week, of course, the Wise Guys, we have that episode, and then the 30th, I'll be uploading the CFP preview. I will not just spend an hour talking about the Peach Bowl. I promise. It'll be about 15 minutes of that team up north against TCU, and the other 45 about the Peach Bowl. Because I hate them. Outside of that, we got Cavs stuff coming up. We'll do a full Mets preview, and then we're calling it the Big Rican 6. When you and I sit down and we preview every single division in, what do you say, about 45 minutes to 1 hour episodes. I'm going to try and get people who are fans in that same division to come on. Willie has already said he'd come on and talk AL West. Jim said he'd come on and talk NL Central. My buddy John, who I'm going to try and get him to do AL Central. So it's not just be you and me. It's going to be somebody from a fan of that division at the same time. And if we can't get it, you and I will fill what we have to. But listen, buddy, thanks for coming on. I knew when I wanted to talk about this, I had to get you going here. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, man.
And I will, if I see you next week, great. If not, enjoy the holidays with the family. Good luck with the house, brother.
Thank you, man. You too. Take care.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you.